Hello students, in this video we'll look at the grammar and vocabulary which are useful for writing task 1, right? So first we'll look at the sample question. So here on the screen you can see a graph, right? And the question is written. So the question is, the line graph below shows spending on player transfers by 4 different English football teams from 1995 to 2015, right? Now whenever the graph is presented to us, the first thing we look at is axis, right? So here we can see on x-axis we have different years: 1995, 2000, 2005, 2010 and 2015, right? On y-axis we are given spending on player transfers. That means the money spent for different players, for exchange of different players, and the unit of measurement is millions of pounds. Now in the graph there are 4 lines, right? And these 4 lines represent 4 different teams: Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool and Arsenal. Now our job, as per writing task 1 in IELTS, we have to write at least 150 words describing this graph, right? Now to answer writing task 1, there are 2 popular formats, 2 popular structures. The one is like this: first, introduction is written, then overall or summary of the graph, or whatever academic diagram is given, the summary is written, then details are described in 2 detailed paragraphs, right? This is one popular format. Another one is, it starts with introduction, then detailed paragraphs, and at last overall or summary, just like essay writing. So both the formats are correct. You can follow any of these, right? Now in overall or summary, this paragraph, we generally describe the general trend, okay? It doesn't matter whether we follow this structure or this structure. The things we describe inside the paragraphs will remain same, right? And in detailed paragraphs we describe the changes in detail with specific details. Alright, so first we'll discuss the sentence formation and vocabulary used for writing summary, and then we'll go for how to describe detailed paragraphs, how to describe the changes in detail. Okay, so before we go for sentence formation, we need to understand the difference among noun, adverb, adjective and noun phrase and all these things, right? So let us understand the difference. So noun is nothing but a thing or a person, right? A verb is nothing but an action. So if I say I am playing, so playing is an action, so verb is an action. Adjective is generally a describing word and it generally describes the noun. And adverb is nothing but a word that describes verb or adjective. For example, the angry woman sat silently. So here the woman, right? So woman is a noun because it's a person, right? What is the action? Action is sat, right? So it is a verb. So how did she sit? Silently. So silently is the word that describes the action, and that's why it is adverb, right? And what kind of woman? So angry woman. So it describes, okay, this word describes a word, woman, and that's why it is an adjective. So we need to understand the difference among these 4, right? So noun, verb, adjective and adverb. Now while we are writing answer for writing task 1, we have a common list of nouns, verbs, adverbs and adjectives which are fixed, right? While we are writing the answer for writing task 1, we need to describe the details, we need to describe the facts, and we don't need to think about our own ideas, and that's why it must be finished within 20 minutes, right? Because the facts are already given in the form of diagram. You just have to describe them in proper format. That's it, right? So here is the list of common nouns, right? If the data is rising, if the lines are going upward, or if the difference is going up, in case of bar graphs, if the difference is going up, right, then the nouns will be like this: peak, growth, increase, rise and surge, right? if the numbers are decreasing, if you see the difference is decreasing, then we have these many nouns: decline, decrease, drop, fall and slump. And if you see that data is going up and down, variation is there, so we have two nouns: variation and fluctuation. Okay, in the same way we have a list of common adjectives. So if the difference is large, alright, if you look at the sample graph, okay, let's say I'm given a graph like this, right? If I have the line like this, right, and this, so here we can see that the change between two numbers, let's say these two, is very large. In this case the adjectives will be like this: sharp, dramatic, steep, significant, considerable or rapid. And if the line is like this, where the difference is small, right, we can use gradual, moderate, modest, slight, steady and slow. Not only for increasing data but also for decreasing data we can use these words, right? We just need to observe the amount of change. Alright, now we have common verbs as well. Now what I see, when students are writing the answer for writing task 1, they generally keep repeating the words like increasing and decreasing, right? So instead of repeating the same word again and again, we should try different words. We should use synonyms, right? So if the data is increasing, if the numbers are increasing, that's what we call upward trend. And for upward trend, instead of repeating the same word, for example increased, right, we can use these many words, right? So these are the synonyms. So we can use increase, rise, jump, grow, climb, go up and rocket, right? And if the numbers are decreasing, then that's what we call downward trend. And for downward trend we have decrease, fall, drop, decline, go down, plunge and plummet, right? So don't repeat the same word again and again, try different words. Yeah, but according to the tense we are using in answer, we have to change the form of verb, right? For example, if we are writing the answer in past tense, so we have to write increased, we have to write rose, we have to write went up, right? So we need to change the form of word according to the tense. Alright, now we have a common list of adverbs as well. So for that we have to observe the slope of line or the amount of change, degree of change, right? So if the numbers are decreasing quickly, right, for example, if I draw a graph, let's say I'm given a graph like this, right? Even these two lines, if you observe these two lines, both the lines are increasing, right? The numbers are increasing, but here the behavior is different and here also the behavior is different, right? So here by looking at these lines we can say that the numbers are increasing sharply, right? Here we can say that the numbers are increasing slowly, right? So if we have these three lines, then we have to describe them differently, not only for increasing data, but let's say we are given graph like this. So this is decreasing slowly, right? This is moderate and this is sharp. Alright, so for this kind of different behaviors we have different list of adverbs, right? So here we have, if the change is sharp, then we have the adverbs like sharply, rapidly, quickly, steeply. If the slope is little less, then considerably, significantly and substantially. Even less, then steadily, gradually, moderately. And if it is very slow, then we have two adverbs, slowly and slightly. Alright, so this is the list of common adverbs for writing task 1. Now let's come to the sentence formation. So when we are describing the general trend, generally we describe this general trend in overall or summary paragraph, right, where we cannot go for writing the specific details. So overall, whatever we observe, if I want to summarize this graph, what I observe is, for this line, okay, let's observe the graph first, right? Take a moment. So here on x-axis we are given different years, on y-axis we are given price, the unit is dollars, Okay, we have three lines. This line is for USA, this yellow line is for Germany, and this red line is for China. Alright, now we observe all three lines. So here if you look at the first point and last point, the overall, what is your observation? The numbers are increasing, right? Here for red line for China, if you observe the first point and last point, what is your observation? Increasing. And for this Germany, first point and last point, okay, even though the difference is very small, but after all, okay, eventually it is increasing, but here it decreases then increases, right? So that's kind of that is a kind of fluctuation. Alright, now if I want to summarize all three variations, all three changes, right, that's what we call general trend. So overall, what do we observe? We observe increasing data. Alright, fine. And this kind of changes are described in overall or summary paragraph. Anyways, so let's look at the first sentence formation. So here we have one format. Okay, so it starts with there, then be. Now be means is, am, are, was, were, will, shall. It depends on the tense if we want to use in our answer, and the tense depends on the graph we are given. So here if you look at this x-axis, we are given the data of past. So here for sure we are going to use past tense, right? Okay, then we have to put an adjective. We have to choose an adjective from the list we have already seen. Then we'll put a noun, then preposition in, and at last noun phrase. Now noun phrase is nothing but the entity which is changing in the graph. So here in this graph, what is changing? Price, right? So noun phrase will be price of sugar, right? So that will be our noun phrase. Alright, now how to use this sentence formation, how to use this structure? Let's look at this graph. Let's say I want to describe the behavior of this line for USA, right? So for USA, I'm gonna start with this word. So first I'll have to put there. Alright, then B. So for B, what we have chosen, as we have seen that it is data of previous years, so obviously we have to use past tense. So let's put was. Alright, now for adjective we have a list of common adjectives. Alright, so for USA, first you remember the difference, guys. Alright, try to guess an adjective. Okay, alright, so here is the list of common adjectives. So you can choose any of these. So we can see that, okay, if we see the difference between first point and last point, alright, what we see, guys, the difference between first point and last point, or the amount of change is not even sharp, is not even very slow, right? So whenever we are confused, guys, remember, whenever we are confused, we can use these two words. Alright, significant or considerable. So let's choose any one of these. Alright, so I have used significant. So there was significant. Now we are supposed to use a noun. Alright, so for noun we have this list. Alright, now from the line in the graph, we can see that the data is going up, right? The line is going up, so we can choose any of these nouns, right? So let's choose increase or rise, right? Because the line is going upward, so I have put increase. Alright, now preposition, you just have to copy it. So in. Alright, and noun phrase, right? Noun phrase, it is already given over here, so let's put it. Alright, so this is the type of sentence we have created from the structure. Now we need to put some articles and all, right? So here is the final sentence. There was a significant increase in the price of sugar. Alright, so this is how you can use this structure when we are describing the general trend. Okay, now think about China. Take a moment and think about China and Germany as well. Alright, okay, so for China, okay, this red line, we can see that was, okay, what kind of change, guys? Okay, first it increased slowly and then sharply, so we can call it dramatic. right? So there was a dramatic, which noun? Rise, because the line is going upward. So rise. Okay, what is the noun? Rise. In the price of sugar, right? Let's do the same for Germany. Okay, so for Germany we can see that if you observe the first point and last point, right, overall it is increasing, right, but the change is very small, right, and it is increasing slowly, so we can use gradual. So the adjective we have used is gradual. Noun is growth, because ultimately it is increasing, and the noun phrase is same, price of sugar. Alright, so this is one sentence formation we can use for writing task 1. Okay, now another format is noun phrase plus verb plus adverb. Alright, now some of you might have the question that if I remember only this format, what is the problem? Now guys, we cannot repeat the same sentence formation again and again, just like vocabulary. Alright, it will not help you get good score. Alright, so we should try different sentence formations so you can showcase your grammatical skills. Alright, anyways, so here we have only three things. First we have to put a noun phrase. So here in this graph, what is a noun phrase? The graph is same, so price of sugar is a noun phrase. Then we have to put a verb, increasing, decreasing, whatever it is, and adverb. Alright, adverb will be the behavior, right, whether it is increasing sharply or slowly or significantly, whatever it is. Alright, so let's try this for USA first. Okay, let's look at all three lines together. So for all three lines the noun phrase is same, that is price of sugar. Okay, now we have to choose a verb. So for verb we have a list, right, and we see that for all three lines the lines are going up. That means we have an upward trend for all three lines. So we can choose any of these verbs, right, and we will try to avoid the repetition. So let's choose increase for one line, rise for one line, grow or climb for other line, right? Fine. So what I have done, guys, the price of sugar increased, right, because the data, if you observe the x-axis, we have to use past tense. So here what I have used? Increased. Here I have used rose, right, and here also I have used rose. In case I want to use go up, alright, from the previous list, in case I want to use go up, I have to change it to went up, right? Fine. Now I have to put an adverb. So we have a list of adverb over here. So for three different lines we have to choose three different adverbs according to their behavior, right? So we have this list, and according to the behavior, guys, if you look at the line of USA, right, it is significant or considerable. So what we have done, guys, increased significantly. Okay, for China dramatically, and for Germany it was gradual, so we have used gradually. Alright, so we have these sentences ready, but guys, when we are writing the actual answer, we have to put the data of countries as well, right? So we have three different ways to put the name of countries in these sentences. So first option is like this, right? In the beginning you can write like this, that in the USA, then punctuation is important, guys. Comma is really important. In the USA, the price of sugar increased significantly. Okay, second, the price of sugar rose dramatically in China, right? So we have put the name of country at last. And another option is the price of sugar in Germany rose gradually. Alright, so along with this sentence formation, along with this structure, right, we have to remember that how to insert the name of country in a correct manner, right? Fine. So we have these two sentence formations while we are describing the general trend, right? So first one is, guys, let us revise. The first one is there plus be plus adjective plus noun plus in plus noun phrase, right? And the second one is noun phrase plus verb plus adverb. Now in the next video we'll look at the sentence formation for detailed paragraphs, because in detailed paragraphs we need to describe the details specifically, how much is the change, and for that we need to use fractions and multipliers. Alright, thank you very much for watching this video. Please like the video if you really like the explanation. Subscribe to this channel for more updates. Thank you.